Hey everyone, welcome back. This is The Sit Down. I'm here with Margaret Cho, Papi Liu, and Yin Q, the ladies behind a new web series called Mercy Mistress. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so it's Monday morning. Before we get into your show, let's talk real quick. Golden Globes. Can I get a quick reaction from you guys? How was that for everyone here?
It's incredible. You know, I mean, I think with Sandra, which is so... I mean, this is kind of like, making history again as the first Asian woman to win the Golden Globes and to do it twice. Mm-hmm. You know, it's really impressive. And also hosting.
Right.
You know, it was really fabulous. I mean, I was disappointed because I thought Crazy Rich Asians was going to take it.
I mean, who among us didn't think that?
I was really hoping. But, you know, in a sense, you know, Sandra was really, I mean, to me, that was like the victory, the takeaway, which was really, really exciting.
We were just talking about this actually coming over here, that like it still feels like a very white situation, you know, and I think even with all of the excitement this last year with like where we're pushing the conversation, when you look at award ceremonies, I feel like they're still like a couple steps behind still, you know, so.
And I really thought Black Panther and that was also...
This is so much commiseration happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, that was the big shock, you know, that for all that it did, I don't know why, maybe are people thinking that it came out too early, or, you know, that's one thing,
right.
but like things that come out, like, it's almost like the things that come out more recently get the bigger push. But Hollywood Foreign Press always leans more towards a kind of a mainstream decision of like who wins, you know, not necessarily always a predictor of the Oscars. So just knowing that about the
this
entity,
whole thing.
Yeah. But Black Panther, I thought that would take it too. So it's very, very strange.
It also makes me think that I think in general, like as people of color, as queer people of color, making media, making films, there has to be other measuring sticks that we measure our own success by.
Right.
Because if we measure our success by like how like our white predecessors have measured their success in the industry, it's not going to be the same. But also it's sort of like, why do we want the same kind of accolades that like they want? Like, are we trying to just like, we're not trying to get, what is Loretta J. Ross's thing that she says? Equality is not about having like the same rights that your oppressors have, or to be able to oppress the same way that they do.
Right.
But to like form a new space, and that's like a dramatic way of talking about it. Oh my God! But
Look,
like,
we're all like in the discourse. We're all like we've been all reading the think pieces. So
yeah,
I'm with you.
It got so deep real quick.
Right. So let's talk about this show really quickly. Mercy Mistress is based on Yin Q's memoir and her life as a dominatrix. Now, so while it might be a little early for people watching this, let's get right into it. What is BDSM and how were you first introduced to it?
Sure. BDSM is engaging in an erotic play, not always focused on erotic, but in a playful manner that deals with bondage, discipline, sadomasochism, or with BDSM can also stand for bottom, dominant, and submissive, and master. So these ideas of power dynamics, physical dynamics that are beyond what we call like the vanilla norm of eroticism.
So what decided to make you go pro, I guess, become a professional dominatrix?
Sure. Well, it was in my blood. I have to say that upon sexual awakening, I was never someone to think of like the very soft, romantic way of seduction. I really loved bruises. I wanted to like hold someone by the throat. I really loved to, you know, wrestle someone down and be the one on the bottom too, being pinned down.
Get those candles out of here unless they're for the wax.
Absolutely. And but what was needed in my life was to find the rules, right? Because if you're just going out and slapping someone in the middle of sex, that's not, first of all, it's not consensual, and then it's also not sexy, and it becomes dangerous for both parties involved. So therefore, I needed to find the rules of BDSM, which is really based on consent. It's really based on trust. It's based on negotiations that happen before the actual activity occurs, so that both parties can go into it in a way that they're engaging with a very sane and also profoundly transformative effect that can happen.
Margaret, you executive produced Mercy Mistress. Why did you want to get involved with this project? What made it so that you wanted to like jump on board?
Well, I come from San Francisco, 90s, trying to figure out how we're going to have sex after the age of age. And you know, the way that sexuality was, like when I was like a young adult in San Francisco in the 90s, like I was working for Stormy Leather, which at that point was a lesbian BDSM collective. And so I was helping them, like, you know, make leather dildos for the masses and try to help them like introduce leather to straight people and introduce leather to everyone. And so I'm always looking for, as a producer, projects that really expand my worldview, and this thing was just perfect. I mean, to talk about queer Asian American sexuality in a way that was incredibly provocative and unique and exciting, but also true to life. Like, it's not going to be 50 Shades of Grey, which I appreciate. I like it because it makes all the straight people go, oh, let's see what this is about. And then, you know, it expands their worldview in a way that I think is really impressive. But this is the real deal.
Right.
You know, this is like real stuff. And what's so great, it is the actual like antithesis of rape culture. You know, where this is all about consent, where the submissive really is the driving force behind everything.
Now, Poppy, you play Yin in Mercy Mistress. What does it mean to you to represent Asian sexuality in this way, in a way that we haven't really seen depicted on screen before?
Yeah. Oh, I love Yin so much. It's like, it's a really special thing to be able to play someone who you like, love and care about. But I think what's really interesting is this is a character who really owns her own sexuality and is not saying, as a Asian woman who has been historically fetishized, exotified, eroticized, etc., that for me to reclaim my power, I'm going to get rid of my sexuality. It's actually that I'm going to use it, and that's my power. And I'm going to amplify it, actually, but it's going to be on my own terms. And it's using my own language. It's using my own discourse. I set the rules for the space. And you may be watching my body, and you may be consuming it, but it's on my terms. And that's amazing, and that's so powerful.
Now, Margaret, what Asian femme stereotypes do you hope Mercy Mistress will shatter? Because I feel like there's many.
Well, I think like the main one is like Dragon Lady. Like which I think I love a Dragon Lady.
I do too.
But it's also
I know so many. All my aunties.
It's perfect. But it's like the one way like we as Asian women have been able to have agency and control of the narrative, that we have to like, you know, assume these tropes like Dragon Lady, like
the lotus blossom,
like delicate flower, which I think, you know, to play with those stereotypes in a way that's eroticized and having fun for us, I think that's the most powerful piece of this, you know, which is so great. And you do it so beautifully. So that's really fun.
Well, Margaret Cho, Poppy Liu, Yin Q, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a great talk with you guys.
Thank you.
Mercy Mistress premieres today on YouTube. Stay tuned for more AM to DM.